payback after Smith hit him with a drink can earlier in the day. Quote, I thought it was part of the show, Jackson wrote, adding it was bad judgment and that he doesn't condone his son's actions.
We're in the ring and I'm breaking it up and he shoots a fucking double leg on me. By the way, work a better fucking double leg, you fucking prick. And then I'm telling you to fucking calm down. I'm not even fucking fighting. I'm not even being fucking hostile. You're trying to fucking work and get lower, do this, change positions, and I'm over here.
Raja Jackson's world flipped upside down when his own father, Rampage Jackson, didn't just fail to defend him, he publicly mocked and disowned him in front of thousands of viewers. The headline spread fast, but the real story was Raja's emotional response, one that fans say revealed more than just anger. It exposed a painful fracture inside the Jackson family. People couldn't believe what they were watching. A legendary fighter known for loyalty and toughness had just laughed at his own son's pain, and the reaction that followed left everyone stunned. After the violent backstage incident with Psycho Stu, Raja was already shaken and recovering from a concussion. But the moment Rampage laughed him off on stream, the internet lit up with clips of a father humiliating his son. Raja didn't stay silent. His response, raw, emotional, and at times heartbreaking, took center stage. Fans watched as he lashed out in real time, with his voice cracking, his hands shaking, and his anger spilling over. He wasn't just battling online trolls anymore, he was battling the humiliation of being clowned by his father. To make matters worse, the internet replayed Rampage's words over and over, magnifying Raja's pain and pushing him deeper into frustration. The focus of this story isn't just a violent altercation, it's about a son's desperate reaction after being publicly rejected by the father he idolized. Raja's response, both confirmed moments and rumored fallout, has left fans questioning, did Rampage's disownment break his son? Or did it push Raja towards finally stepping out of his father's shadow? And with gossip now swirling about what Raja might do next, the story feels far from over. The drama that sparked this father-son fracture didn't start online. It began in a chaotic wrestling venue where entertainment quickly spiraled into danger. Raja Jackson, already recovering from a recent concussion, was blindsided when wrestler Psycho Stu struck him with a prop can. At first, many thought it was scripted, just another outrageous wrestling stunt. The crowd even cheered for a moment, thinking it was part of the show. But as Raja staggered, visibly shaking, it became clear this was no act. He was hurt, and worse, he was still live on stream. His chat didn't show sympathy. Instead, viewers mocked him, calling him soft, weak, and even daring him to man up and retaliate. Raja's pride was on the line, and with thousands watching, every insult cut deeper. The taunting pushed him further until this frustration boiled over. He started pacing, clenching his fists, and mumbling that people would regret doubting him. The energy around him shifted from playful banter to raw hostility, fueled not just by the injury, but by the pressure of a live audience egging him on. Friends in the background tried to calm him, but Raja was already locked in. What looked like just another chaotic night of wrestling turned into the perfect storm. A concussed young man, an online audience goading him on, and a moment of violence that would eventually drag his father into the spotlight. And while Raja's clash with Psycho Stu set the stage, the true fallout wasn't about wrestling at all. It was about the father's words and how his son would react to them. Fans braced themselves for Rampage Jackson to defend his son. Instead, what they got was the exact opposite. A father who laughed, mocked, and publicly distanced himself from his own blood. As Raja's stream replayed the chaos, Rampage watched from his own broadcast. Viewers expected him to explode with anger, to demand answers, maybe even to step in as a protective father figure. Instead, his reaction was cold. He shook his head and made it clear he wasn't going to stand behind his son's choices. Fans clipped the moment instantly, flooding social media with captions like "Rampage embarrassed by his own son" and "Father turns on Raja." The betrayal stung even more because it came from someone who had built his entire reputation on toughness and loyalty. To longtime fight fans, Rampage's behavior was shocking. This was a man who once fought tooth and nail for his own respect inside the cage, now disowning his son for an incident inside the ring. Debate raged online. Was this tough love, the kind of brutal honesty Rampage was always known for? Or was it humiliation that no father should ever put his child through? For many, this was more than just tough love. The world had just seen a father disown his son in real time. And while Rampage's reaction dominated headlines, what really had people talking wasn't what Rampage said. It was how Raja responded when he realized his father had mocked him for the world to see. Before we keep going, let me take a quick second to say this. We just hit 495 subscribers, which means we are only 5 away from the halfway mark of 500. That's huge because my ultimate goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers this year. But here's the wild part. Right now, nearly 99% of people watching aren't subscribed yet. That means if even a small percentage of you hit that button, we'd smash through this milestone in no time. Subscribing doesn't cost you anything, but it makes a massive difference in helping me keep bringing you stories like this one. So if you're enjoying the video, take a second to subscribe and join this journey with me. Every single one of you matters. As always, let's grow this together. Thank you for watching, and now back to the video. The moment Raja realized his father wasn't backing him up, everything changed. His live stream captured a raw, unfiltered reaction that quickly became the center of the entire story. As fans spammed his chat with Rampage's mocking comments, Raja's demeanor shifted instantly. What started as frustration with the crowd turned into visible heartbreak. His hands shook as he tried to defend himself, pacing the room and snapping at the screen. He muttered that he wasn't weak, that nobody could call him fake, and that he'd prove everyone wrong, especially his father. Viewers noted his voice cracking between anger and disbelief. It wasn't just about Psycho Stu anymore. Raja was fighting humiliation from the one man he expected to have his back. Clips of Raja's outburst spread fast. The internet labeled it a meltdown, but others saw something deeper. A young man crumbling under the weight of public rejection from his father. The energy in the stream shifted from entertainment to something much darker, leaving viewers unsettled. Raja's immediate reaction made one thing clear. This wasn't about wrestling, it was about family, respect, and a son struggling to deal with his father's public disownment. For many fans, his live response became the true headline, overshadowing the fight itself. If Raja's live reaction shook fans, what happened after the dust settled made it clear the story wasn't dying down anytime soon. Later that night, Raja kept streaming, addressing what had happened. He admitted the can to the head wasn't what stuck with him the most. What really hit him was seeing the internet replay his father's reaction over and over, as if Rampage's laughter mattered more than the fight itself. Raja's tone was sharper now. He pushed back in the chat, telling viewers he wasn't weak and warning people not to judge him based on one night. He said people were twisting the story, and he promised they'd see a different side of him soon. That determination fueled speculation. Clips spread of Raja repeating that he'd prove people wrong, and fans began debating if he was talking about Psycho Stu, his online critics, or even Rampage himself. Some online forums suggest Raja might be looking for ways to rebuild his reputation, while others believe he was taking the comments personally and plotting how to respond to his father's criticism. None of this has been confirmed, but it's widely believed Raja is privately grappling with how to move forward now that his father has gone public in such a harsh way. Raja's aftermath response showed a man trying to reset the narrative. He didn't come across broken, but he didn't shrug it off either. His words hinted at frustration, determination, and a need to set the record straight. And while much of the chatter about his private feelings remains speculation, the one thing fans agree on is this: Raja isn't letting his father's disownment be the final word in the story. Once Raja's reaction clips hit social media, the story exploded beyond the fight world. What started as a scuffle in the wrestling venue turned into a trending saga across Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. The hashtag #CrashOut started climbing almost immediately, with fans splicing Rampage's mocking words next to Raja's heated stream. Some mock Raja as unstable, pointing to his pacing, his sharp tone, and his repeated vows to prove himself. Others, however, saw something different. A young man stuck in the spotlight, pushed past his limit by trolls, and left hanging by his own father. The debate split the internet. Supporters argued that Raja had every right to be upset after suffering a concussion and then being humiliated online. Critics countered that Raja was making things worse by lashing out, saying his behavior only proved Rampage right. Gossip channels began running with the angle that Raja might be preparing to confront his father directly, though no official statement has confirmed that. Still, the narrative stuck because fans believed it, and the speculation itself kept the story alive. The online firestorm showed how quickly one moment can snowball into something bigger. Raja's response became a symbol of two clashing perspectives. Was this a son spiraling under pressure, or a son trying to claw back respect after being mocked by his own father? Either way, the internet made sure his reaction was a centerpiece of the story. While fans argued online, the wrestling world had its own take on Raja's response, and it was just as divided. Behind the scenes, several wrestlers admitted they were stunned, not just by Raja storming into the ring, but by the way Rampage handled the fallout. Some thought Raja went too far, claiming he blurred the line between entertainment and reality. Others, though, quietly expressed sympathy, pointing out that he was baited, concussed, and dealing with the weight of his father's reaction on top of everything else. Promoters, meanwhile, tried to tread carefully. Psycho Stu had a reputation for pushing boundaries, and some admitted that while Raja's behavior wasn't ideal, the circumstances weren't entirely his fault. The bigger surprise, however, was a chatter about Rampage. Wrestlers said they expected the MMA legend to defend his son, at least publicly, and instead saw him clown Raja for the world to see. That shift in expectation became a talking point in locker rooms across the circuit. The wrestling community's mixed reaction reinforced just how complicated Raja's response had become. He wasn't viewed as just another fighter losing control. He was seen as the son of a legend, trying to navigate his father's disownment in the most public way possible. Beneath the headlines and viral clips, this story boils down to something far deeper: a father and son clashing in front of the world. Rampage built his legacy on toughness. His entire career was defined by grit, intimidation, and survival in the cage. For years, fans admired his intensity, even when it spilled outside of competition. But Raja's response painted a different picture. A son trying to earn respect in an environment where even his father wasn't willing to give it. Clips of Raja pacing, swearing he'd prove himself, became a stark contrast to Rampage smirking and shaking his head. That split screen image, the father mocking, the son lashing out, summed up the generational divide between them. Fans debated whether Rampage's reaction was necessary to toughen up his son, or if it had crossed into cruelty. Raja, meanwhile, didn't outright say he was aiming at his father, but his frustration made it clear the criticism hit harder than any punch. The bigger picture is this: Raja isn't just battling critics or opponents, he's battling the shadow of Rampage Jackson. And whether this turns into motivation or estrangement, the father-son dynamic has now become the heart of the story. As the dust settles, the question isn't about what Raja will do next, it's about how this saga impacts the Jackson legacy. Rampage's name carries weight in combat sports. For decades, he was feared, respected, and admired for his toughness. But Raja's public clash with him complicates that legacy. Instead of fatherly protection, fans saw humiliation. Instead of guidance, they saw rejection. Raja's response, sharp, angry, and unfiltered, turned this into more than a wrestling incident. Speculation now swirls online. Will Raja try to separate himself from his father's name and forge his own path? Or will this feud keep him tied to Rampage's shadow? Some believe this was a moment he stepped into independence, while others think it marked a permanent fracture. None of it is confirmed, but the gossip has only heightened interest in where the story goes next. At its core, the legacy question lingers. Was Rampage right to be brutally honest, or did he tarnish his own reputation by mocking his son? And for Raja, the real challenge may not be in the ring, but in proving who he is without his father's approval. By the end of this saga, one thing is clear: this wasn't just about a wrestling fight gone wrong. It was about a father publicly disowning his son and a son forced to respond in front of the world. Raja Jackson's journey that night started with a concussion and a prop can, but it spiraled into something no one expected. The internet didn't just focus on the fight, it replayed Rampage's mocking words side by side with Raja's angry response. Raja's live reaction, his sharp words afterward, and the speculation that followed turned the entire ordeal into a public family fracture. Clips trended, debates raged, and suddenly, this is no longer about Psycho Stu or a chaotic night of wrestling. It was about a son standing under the shadow of a father who refused to stand by him. So the question remains, did Rampage's rejection break Raja, or did it finally push him to step out and define himself on his own terms? We may not have the answer yet, but fans can't stop talking about it. One side believes this was a brutal tough love, the other sees it as a father crossing a line. And as gossip continues to spread, one thing is certain: Raja Jackson's response has made this story far bigger than wrestling.